Hello and welcome to Constitutional Criminal, the show that takes on all issues regarding your country and its controversial topics. I'm your host, Liam Sullivan. On today's show, capital punishment and whether or not it violates the Constitution. As we go in depth on this topic, we'll go over some of the pros and cons of the death penalty on state and federal level. Crime will always have a presence in society, no matter how hard we try to eradicate it. What we do, however, is a different matter. The death penalty does not violate the Eighth Amendment because of the due process. The person that committed a crime also gets to choose their course of death, therefore making it neither cruel nor unusual. However, since there have been many other Supreme Court cases that have been ruling on capital punishment, including Furman v. Georgia in 1972, while some rulings are applied very narrowly, perhaps only one individual, other cases had great influence over the wide areas of procedure, eligible crimes, and acceptable evidence. Capital punishment in the United States is constantly being criticized by citizens, making it almost impossible to get one definite answer. About 62% of Americans favor the death penalty for people who are convicted of murder. This number crosses different parties, including Republicans at 87%, Democrats at 58%, and Independent at 51%. Murder is the only scenario out of hundreds argued for. The death penalty in the United States is almost exclusively for the crime of murder, although state and federal contains various capital crimes other than involving the death of the victim. The last execution involving a non-murder related offense in 1964. Since then, only 2 people were put on death row for non-murder cases. The case of Patrick Kennedy and Richard Davis in Louisiana. Kennedy was convicted of raping his 8-year-old stepdaughter and was sentenced to death in 2004. The case reopened when Kennedy pleaded that the sentence violated the Eighth Amendment. On June 25, 2008, the Supreme Court ruled the case Kennedy v. Louisiana unconstitutional, and only cases where a victim died. The pros of the death penalty are simple. Less money, absence of the death penalty is synonymous with increase in the crime rate, and it's constitutional. The cons: innocent or wrongly accused, mental illness, and added cost to the government and taxpayers, and it is also known as a form of revenge. The known inaccuracies of the convictions and costs are some of the major strong points for many who advocate to abolish the death penalty. Perhaps if the system was accurate, people would feel otherwise. Based on these pros and cons, we invited to the show Andrew Starr. He's a student athlete at Sacred Heart University. We've been discussing the pros and cons of the death penalty. Please give us your thoughts on the matter.
I think it's a necessary evil. It may be a bit outdated, but I think people are there for a reason and on death row for a reason. So,
thank you. What are your thoughts on the 2,905 people that are currently on death row?
Like I said in the last answer, I think they're there for a reason. They wouldn't be there if they didn't commit the crime of a seriousness, I guess.
That's true. That's true. And also, if the death penalty was meant to deter others from committing serious offenses, why is that states without it have a lower murder rate compared to states that do have it?
Possibly because they're larger states. I don't know. Larger states have more people in it. More crimes committed per capita, I suppose.
You don't think the scare tactic's working?
No, I don't think it's meant as a scare tactic, to be honest with you.
Okay. Did you know that inaccuracies in cases had led to more than 4% of inmates on death row that have been wrongly accused from 1973 to 2004?
No, I didn't, actually. I had no idea. It's pretty bad.
That is pretty bad, 4%. On the basis of mistaken identification and forced confessions, Keaton was sentenced to death for murdering an off-duty sheriff during a robbery. It wasn't until 1973 that new evidence was found and the Supreme Court reversed the conviction, holding a new trial, and eventually provided him innocent. What do you think of that?
Great. I mean, the system is a bit flawed.
It can be a little bit flawed. Another case in 1986 shows that Kenneth Harwood was convicted of murdering a Virginia man and raping his wife in their home. Howard spent the last 33 years of his life serving time for a murder and rape he did not commit. Virginia's Attorney General Mark Hearing said DNA testing was not available at the time of the case went to trial. Jerry Crawdon was the man responsible for the crimes. Crotty died in Ohio prison in 2006 while serving charges for abduction. And I'd like to thank our guest, Andrew Starr, for coming in today and speaking with me.
No problem.
That's all the time we have for today. Please tune in next time on Constitutional or Criminal as we discuss the overview of the presidential race.